I've been posting pictures of our new garage office gym setup, and we've been getting some comments from people like, well, you're really making me crave a sticks and bricks instead of full-time travel. And that brings up a really interesting topic, because what is better, a sticks and bricks house or traveling full-time? There's definitely pros and cons to each one. And I think just experiencing both will give you a better idea of what's gonna work for you. But in this video, let's talk about some of those pros and cons for full-time travel, as well as a sticks and bricks house.
Good boy. You ready, girls?
Let's go. So I think we have, and this was Courtney's idea actually, I can't take credit for it, but the phrase she used is, I think we have the best of both worlds, because we get the stationary house, the property, setting things up exactly the way we want them, but we can also go travel whenever we want. If we wanted to go travel tomorrow, we just up and leave for a few days because we still have the rig.
We have the rig. We don't have it winterized because even though it gets cold here, we just have the furnace going. And we have solar, so we don't have to worry about power on it. And we live in Arizona, so sorry, the dog is trying to completely wrap around us.
Yes.
We live in Arizona, so we can go places right now that are only a couple hours away in the wintertime, no problem. But I was telling Steve with the house, I'm gonna go over here. I was telling Steve with the house, for me, a lot of the things that I got out of the house, we could have gotten out of having a bigger rig. So like more space, being able to have a few more like kitchen items and the space to do more kitchen cooking and stuff, and the resources and the community. Like you can get all of that by changing up your rig and your camping style. But we just happen to get all of that by buying the land and the property and the house. And then we can still do our traveling and not have to worry about leaving the house, which is really nice too, and not pay for it.
For me, I think the biggest benefit of having a sticks and bricks house is having your own stuff, your own property, your own house, the ability to set things up exactly the way you want them. Like my gym and my office have more space in there, and it's exactly what works best for me, which I think that's the primary benefit for me of having a sticks and bricks house, just having more control over your land and the things that you do. And for us, we have no neighbors out here, which is nice. We were kind of getting tired when we were traveling full time of always being 5 feet from our neighbors, or 10 feet, depending on the campground you are in. Now, granted, you can change that by boondocking or dry camping some more. But then you lose your resources. When you're around other people in a campground, you have resources, but your neighbor is right there all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, the resources and the fact that when you boondock, most of the time you have a limit of time, either because of the resources or just like you're only allowed to be there for 10 days or 2 weeks. So you can't just like spend a month boondocking in the same place and never have to worry about resources and just be away from it all. It's just different. There's a lot of what you can get out of sticks and bricks you can do in your rig, no problem, and still have the benefit of being able to travel and pick up whenever you want. It's kind of nice to have some place to just call home that's still here and gonna always be there too.
Yeah, I will say one nice thing about a sticks and bricks is community. That's mainly her thing, not necessarily mine. But when you're in one place for a longer period of time, you have the luxury of establishing longer term friends with those in the community. She's already in this knitting club and in a small town about 15, 20 minutes away. So that's another benefit of being in one place for a longer period of time. You meet people and you get to see them more often.
But you could do that with your RV too. A lot of people only move twice a year in an RV. And so they know the people they're going to hang out with for 6 months at a time. And so, like I said, it really depends on who you are, whether a sticks and bricks makes sense.
Hi, Beanie. This is our second to last day of taking care of that little guy up there, my in-laws Welsh Terrier. Best dog, best little dog, very active, but he's cool. He's cool, yeah. I'll also say the cost of living might change depending on how you live. Since we are completely off-grid, that was actually one of the positives of settling down in a house, because I mean, there's no power bills, there's no water bills, or I mean, especially with rainwater collection, we can live very, very, very cheaply in this place. But that's not necessarily going to be the case everywhere. So depending on how you travel, your living expenses might increase or decrease based on your stationary house.
Another thing to consider is that a lot of people start RVing because they don't have a place they necessarily want to stay and they have the freedom to move around. And that was us. And you'll see that people eventually settle down, and depending on how many years they're RVing, it's often that they're RVing looking for that next place to be. And that's when they'll find a place to settle down and have a sticks and bricks and still travel sometimes, but have a home base. And so RVing is great for that because you can try all different communities and find the right fit for you.
We lost our puppies. We lost our puppies. Daddy. Oh, there's one puppy. There's the other puppy. I think an important element in all this, and Courtney's been alluding to it, the advantages of having a stationary sticks and bricks house, you can accomplish those same things in an RV as well. It'll just completely depend on what makes you feel more comfortable. Some people only travel a couple times a year, but they still live in an RV, maybe a larger Class A where you have a little bit more space. Maybe the boondock or dry camp where you have a little bit more land. It may not be yours, but it might be. You could just buy like a 20-acre plot somewhere. So there are so many options that you can pick from. In the end, it just comes back to there's pros and cons to each. Who's been a good dog? Who's been a good dog? The guest gets fed first, then Miss Patty. No, this is Patty's. And last but not least, here you go, Penny. Stay away. This might be another advantage of a home. Look at this kitchen.
It is bigger. You'd have a bigger kitchen if you had a bigger rig. And I've made this meal in our Airstream, so it's not something I can't do in the Airstream. In fact, you can do anything you can do in a regular kitchen pretty much in the Airstream.
Yeah, the Airstream had the microwave, it had the refrigerator, it had the stove, the sink. It has everything that a quote-unquote real kitchen has, but it's just a little bit smaller.
So like we've been saying, getting a sticks and bricks was not something we had planned on doing a couple years ago. And we probably didn't even really need to, but at least for me, and I think Steve could say the same, I am so happy we did. I love this house. I love our land. I love this community. And we've just been like making this place home and feeling like we have exactly what we said, a home base. And so that now I don't have to feel overwhelmed and always be planning where we're going. We don't have to be surrounded by people, which really stresses us out. So it's just a nice place to chill, plan for the future, and get stuff done. So happy we decided to get a sticks and bricks.
Yep, for us, it's about balance. We have the Airstream still, so we can change our backyard whenever we want, just do some adventuring, but we're not restricted to that. We can come back to some land that we can spread out a little bit. I have exactly what I want. Courtney has exactly what she wants. And for me, it was just an office with a locking door, or a closing door. It does lock. It does lock, but I've never actually locked it. In fact, even when we leave, I don't actually. Anyway, yeah, and then the gym, because there's no gym options here. So
no.
It would not have worked just buying land.
No.
Because I didn't have a gym option. Fitness is a big part of my life. So it was a pretty clear. For us, the house is a big advantage.
Yes, it worked out really well, and I got what I wanted, which was community and time to chill without having to plan all the time. You guys know I'm good at planning. Doesn't mean I want to do it all the time, and it got to be very overwhelming this year, and I was ready to just kind of sit back and not do any planning and not have any of that responsibility and focus on other things for a while. So.
That's right. That's right. So if you've made it this far in the video, let me know your thoughts on full-time versus stationary
Some
life.
timing.
Yes, some timing.
Yeah, we're some timing is what we'd
Yes.
say. Like the Airstream's still our home for more than half the year some years, not this year, but more than half the year some years we'll probably be in the Airstream. So it's almost like looking at it like the summer home, winter home kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
We just move the winter home or the summer home to the winter home. Yeah, anyway, 2 homes. So some timing, stationary, in a sticks and bricks.
Or full-time.
Or full-time.
Or full-time.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's it. We'll talk to you later.
Yep.
From Southern Arizona on a nice, warm, slightly breezy day.
Bye, guys.